When you saw those people yawn, did you yawn? If you did, how did you feel? Did you feel okay? Because yawning helped you to relax a little bit, or you were annoyed? Because even if you didn't want to, you were forced to yawn after them. But either way, it might be a good thing. Because if you didn't yawn, it might be because that you are a psychopath. That's right. The contagiousness of yawning actually relates to the level of empathy we have as human beings. And our empathy also relates to the social abilities we have. So, the more likely you are to yawn after others, the higher level of empathy you have. And the higher level of empathy you have, the more sociable you are. Which makes sense, because empathy makes it much easier for you to relate to other people. When others share their stories with you, it's much easier for you to relate to them. It's much easier for you to share their pain, their joy, their happiness, and their sadness, which in return would make you more likable to them. And this would also make others want to hang out with you more. This is the exact opposite of what psychopaths are. Of course, there are some very charismatic psychopaths out there, but they are very rare. Most of them are not very sociable. They normally act alone. It's much harder for them to relate to other people. It's hard for them to understand how others feel because they lack of empathy. So that's why when I watch a viral video of somebody falls, I would instantly feel their pain like, ooh. But it might not be the same to a psychopath. When a psychopath watches the same video, they might feel nothing at all. But this lack of empathy also makes it possible for them to conduct horrible things to others because they can't experience what their victims are experiencing. So it would not affect themselves that much. But it doesn't mean psychopaths don't yawn at all. They just don't find yawning as contagious as it is to us. But they can still yawn on themselves, and that is called spontaneous yawning. And actually, yawning is so primal to us that even human fetuses are observed to yawn as early as during the first trimester of pregnancies. But why do we yawn? Quite contrary to what most of us think that yawning makes us sleepy, yawning actually alerts us. Scientists used to think that the reason why yawning does this is because when we inhale a big chunk of air, the quick dose of oxygen would make our minds clear. But it turns out it's not true. The real reason is actually the inhalation of cooler air would help to reduce our brain temperature. Because as mammals, our brains would work much better when it's not that hot. So if you are in a very hot environment and you cannot stop yawning, maybe a cold shower would really help. Not only that, when yawning forces us to stretch our bodies and open our mouths and have these crazy and awkward facial expressions, it helps us to increase the blood circulation in our bodies, which would make us feel better. And when we're forced to close our eyes, our tear glands are pressured to produce more liquid to moisturize our eyes so we can see better. Yawning makes sense evolutionarily. Imagine the animal kingdom. Danger is everywhere. Everybody is trying to survive. But there's also not much entertainment going on. Life is very boring out there. That's why yawning can be very helpful because it's easy, it's quick, it doesn't take much effort, but it keeps you alert. And also, the contagiousness of yawning would also make sense. Because if you have a group of animals trying to survive, only one of them staying alert would not be enough. So, if I yawn, all of them would yawn following me. That would keep all of us alert. And that would also increase our chances of surviving. As human beings, we don't face life-threatening events every day like those wild animals, but we do have our own unique challenges, and that is boredom. In order to study the relationship between yawning and boredom, scientists conducted one experiment. In this experiment, they separated the participants into two groups. They asked all of them to watch TV for half an hour, but here's the catch. One group could watch music videos for half an hour, but another group could only watch the static TV screen. And the result was quite interesting. The group of people that was given the static TV screen yawned significantly more than the other group, which proves that boredom really encourages yawning. But it happens in real life as well. Most of us are more likely to yawn during boring lectures, boring meetings, or even boring conversations. Of course, nobody wants to be considered boring. That's why yawning during those social events is actually considered inappropriate. So we want to yawn, we would cover our mouths. That is also why Sasha Obama was criticized for yawning during her father's inaugural speech. But yawning is only inappropriate when we humans make it seem to be. The truth is, yawning is an attribute that evolution gave us. So instead of always trying to avoid it or hide it, after watching this video, maybe you can try to take advantage of it. For example, if doing something always makes you yawn, maybe it's time to drop it and try something new. Or maybe if there's somebody always yawns after you, maybe that person is your potential soulmate. I'll let you to find out for yourself. And I'll see you very soon in the next video.